Hi everyone, so I'm Gurjit Rana and I'm the host of Relationship Reset. It's a coaching program where I coach clients through 8 weeks of their journey of transforming their most important relationships. Today I have with me Jasbinder Saikhon, who's come to share her journey as a client. Welcome Jasbinder, so great to have you with me.
Hi Gurjit, thank you.
So the very first question I have is, what was your life like before you had even considered any coaching?
My life was not as authentic as it is now, and it was the richness in relationships was lacking. I was struggling with my sister. I was struggling with my children at times because I'd never done this inner work on myself. So I needed to get to this level, and I had to do this work, which is brilliant. It's been honestly life-changing for me.
And what was the decision that had you say, enough was enough, I need to do this?
It was just because, like I said, because I met you, Gurjit, and we clicked, and I thought this girl knows what she's talking about. I'm going to invest in myself, and I'm going to use Gurjit.
Thank you. Yeah, but can you give some examples of what was it like when you used to go around and speak with people? You know, how was the actual, conversation? What was it like being around people?
I wasn't being authentic. I was just kind of worried about people judging me, but they weren't actually saying anything to me. It was me thinking that. So you helped me overcome that. And how you speak to people and how they talk back to you. You know, like you mentioned, it's your own radio getting louder and louder. And you don't really realize that because you think, why is that person talking to me like that? But you don't realize it's yourself. And because I'd never had this work, so it's been really helpful for me. Because even with your children, when you're yelling at them, and they're going to yell back at you. And that was happening for me.
Yeah. What could you just name a couple of your relationships? Like, obviously we worked on a few core relationships, which we'll talk about, but who in particular were you challenged with, and what was the challenge like?
It was with my sister. The main one was my sister. I've got two sisters. It was the middle sister. And the relationship had completely broken down. We weren't having real conversations. It was just small talk, how's everybody, blah, blah, blah. And very short and very quick. And it was almost like I knew when the phone used to ring what she's going to say and what our conversation was going to be about. So there was no richness, no depth in those conversations.
So would you say your relationship was pretty much very monotone, very autopilot?
Yes.
And like you say, you were just exchanging pleasantries, and there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
But at the same time, you knew that there wasn't something quite right.
Yes, something was missing. And, with siblings, you're supposed to have that richness and you're able to be honest and open.
Yeah.
And that was missing. And we went through, obviously, where that had come from and realized straight away, yes, but you need light workers like yourself for us to kind of see what's happening.
Yeah. So just to kind of, share with people, how did you then come across me? When and where did you first hear about myself? I know, I've been a regular guest on your Saheli, but where did you originally kind of?
I came across you on the Successful Superwomen group, the group that I'm a part of as well. And that's how we connected. And I thought, it's all energy, isn't it? Certain people you're going to connect with because you like what they say. And you think, you know what? She's very aligned with what I'm doing. I'll contact her. So we had the first conversation, then we had a second conversation. Then I invited you on our chat show because I felt, especially with the COVID situation, because I was feeling like this, how many others are out there that are struggling with their relationships?
But what chose you to actually do the coaching? Because I know we had a conversation one morning and it was just out of the blue. I thought we were having a catch up.
No, it was because you'd come on my chat show 3-4 times and I got to know you and I felt connected with you. Yeah. Because obviously there's lots of coaches out there, Gurjit, and for me it was really important that I go to somebody that I feel connected with, and with you it was that.
Thank you. And it's been a privilege to work with you both professionally, but for me, what was always there in my mind was, to make a difference to
Yes.
anyone. And that can be absolutely, any woman that crosses my path.
Exactly.
What would you say were your key challenges, if you could summarize those, before you even started the program? Like you said there, challenges with siblings, challenging with children. But what were the actual challenge?
It was your Saheli, because obviously it's my passion, and I'm like you, I want to help other women, and especially, be the voice for women that may be struggling or feel they haven't got the power or they've lost their voice. And it was when you said to me, Benji, there's something missing there. There needs to be a little bit work done. You could do this better. I know you can. And it got me thinking, actually, Gurjeet is right, because I don't want to, be on the show, invite people, but then I need to come across really authentic and myself and, be a better version of me. So I knew there was some work that needed doing.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why, because I listened to you when you were on the chat show, how you put out, things like how you are in one relationship, that stuck with me. You're like that in all of your relationships. And I thought, this girl knows what she's talking about. I need to invest in myself, improve my personal development, and doing what I'm doing, I'll be able to do it even better.
Yeah. Benji, would you just like to, just share with the audience your current status? Like, what's your current situation and what was holding that voice back as well?
In 2008, I lost my husband. Just suddenly, we went for a walk one day and I came back alone. So I was going through so much trauma. And trauma, you feel you've healed from it and you get up. And at that time, Gurjeet, I wish I had met you earlier, because when it happened in 2008, I, was on autopilot, just continued with my journey and trying to be there for my children. And, the only option I had, because everybody was saying, oh, you're so strong, you're doing really well, was being strong. There was no time to do any work on yourself and really go through what emotions were like needed to be kind of healed at that time. So I continued on my journey, carried on doing what I was doing, but I knew I was looking for a platform like your Saheli. So what do? If you're looking for something and you can't find it and you're looking for the change, you be the change. So I set it up. And obviously I'm no coach, but that's the reason why I knew what I wanted. I had a vision, but I needed people like yourself to join me to make my vision real, to make my dream come true.
And it's been a privilege to be part of that journey. What would you say for women right now that may be listening to your story and think, I've got a business, or maybe I've got marital problems right now, but perhaps hearing your story, they may be thinking, this is not for me. And they may be thinking of a business mentor or a relationship coach, because I know from my perspective, that is really who I am. And it isn't about your status. What would be your view to them?
My view would be, give Gurjeet a call, have the initial chat. If you feel you're stuck anywhere in life, there's nothing wrong with having a chat. You have the initial chat, and if you feel Gurjeet is right for you and you're right for Gurjeet, you will definitely get that help that you need and where you're stuck. Because this is something we're not taught in schools, we're not taught in colleges, right? And I didn't go to university, so for me, it's been a brilliant journey, because I've been on a few personal development courses, but I didn't really connect like I connected with Gurjeet. And that's the reason why I invited you on my show, because you've got to feel that person's right for you, right for your audience, and understands you.
Yes. Benji, just to share a little bit more now about the work I do and the journey you've been on in particular then, how did you feel at the time of starting the work?
I wasn't sure what, was expected of me, but because it was all relationships and relationships reset, and even things like doing the apology letters, I was thinking, I never knew that. So for me, it was brilliant, because I had no expectations where this was going to lead me. And all I knew was it was going to make me a better version of me. So I came in with that intention.
And just to share then, what could you just summarize some of the wins that you have had? Like, I've seen phenomenal growth in you as an individual. But just to give people a bit of a sense of what you've achieved, can you just in your own words share how your relationships are now with people?
Yeah, I seem to be getting on a lot better with my sister. We have daily calls and we talk about everything. And also at the time was her daughter's wedding. So, you know, she probably felt, oh my God, she's changed. We're having deeper conversations. And with the lockdown, you know, you need your siblings, right? Especially when you've got a big function, but it's now become a very small function and it's only the people that really matter. So that was great because it was good for her and it was good for me. So that really helped. And with my son, because me and my son were very similar personalities and we clash. And, you know, we seem to get on a lot better. We seem to have more time for each other. And it's just, you learn how to talk to certain people because you're not going to be everyone's cup of tea, right? For me, it kind of gave me that. And it gave me, the example I'll give you is when I said to you, Gaji, I was talking to a friend and she'd had to cancel her son's wedding. And I was saying, oh God, you're going to have to wait a long time for this. But she didn't want to hear that. It's being a bit more sympathetic and, you know, thinking that her radio's getting louder now. She's getting really frustrated because she has other restrictions as well. It's not up to her. She hasn't got a choice in this. And just taking control of that conversation, thinking, right, we need to end it here. Because if you continue, the other person's getting really agitated.
Yeah.
So I learned that. And for me, I also, the other thing was, obviously everything is energy. I learned how to shift certain energies and also remember gratitude more because we always forget. So, you know, you reminded me, took me back home, gratitude.
What was it there that even though, you know, your husband had passed away, you know, that was the real big stuff that needed being dealt with. What did you release, or what would you say you've overcome in that, even though he's not around anymore?
I used to be in my story quite a lot. So I learned how to come out of my story.
Yeah.
Because we tend to stay in our story, you know, look at me, poor me. And I was, when I set up Your Saheli, which was 2016, it was the beginning of 2016. So 2015, we were already, you know, fired up to go. At that time, although I had my, you know, I knew what my purpose was and I had healed to an extent and I knew what I was going to be doing. But like I said, had I had some coaching from somebody like you then, it would have been at a different level by now. But it's okay. Everything happens, you know, when it's supposed to happen. And I knew I wanted to raise my views, my opinions, the journey that I'd been on and help other women out there. So for me, it was all about the power of story sharing because you don't know who's out there wanting to hear your story.
Absolutely.
And that's why I joined organizations like Your Saheli, because I wanted to listen to other people's stories. Because when something happens to you, you feel so alone and you feel nobody understands you. And it's not their fault, like you said, you know, either to me several times. It's not their fault. They haven't been on this journey. Now I get it. Because at the time you think, look, this has happened to me. Then I got to a stage when I was setting up Your Saheli to life is happening for me to be able to do this. And now I feel I'm at a stage where life is happening through me. And I know there's another level to get to. And hopefully I will get there as well.
Yeah, and say, look, there's definitely more levels to uncover, and life is a journey. You've got to keep uncovering those. Just two final questions from me. The first is, a lot of women believe that coaching or investing money is unnecessary. After all, love is supposed to be free, right? Do you agree with that?
See, with anything in life, you get what you put in there, right? You know, coaching, I don't think it's a waste of time. Like I said, if I'd known, I would have done it earlier. But you feel a bit, you know, because sometimes people may feel they haven't got the funds to be able to afford it and it's their fear, but it all begins with yourself. You know, anything and everything is worth it if it's going to make you a better version of you.
And finally then, one word to describe your 8-week journey with me.
Fun. I used to look forward to it.
Amazing. Well, as I say, I wanted just to acknowledge you. It was just as fun for me. But really, my true acknowledgement is to you for really taking on your life, for really delving in and really getting to the root of the challenges you had, both with your children, with your sister and other siblings, and of course, dealing with the deep rooted pain of losing your husband, so that you could release all those emotions, you know. And now we see you on TV really being yourself and owning yourself. So huge acknowledgement to you, and thank you so much for choosing me.
Thank you, Guji, and hopefully we can do a lot more together. Thank you.
Thank you.